Emotional eating can feel incredibly hard to stop because most of us try to change it at the wrong point. We focus on the food. We tell ourselves to have more discipline, resist the craving, or just stop doing it. But if you're using food to soothe stress, boredom, loneliness, exhaustion, or to help yourself calm down after a demanding day, taking away the food doesn't take away the reason why you wanted it. So in this episode, I'm going to show you how to interrupt emotional eating at the source. Okay, you'll learn how to figure out what you're actually seeking in that moment, how to meet the need differently, and how to create enough space between the urge and the action that you can make a real choice. And I'm going to give you a simple 10-minute reset that you can use the next time the urge hits. Not to forbid yourself from eating, but to make sure that you're the one that's choosing. Today, we're going to change the way we approach emotional eating. Because the first thing I want you to understand is this. Food is often doing a job for us, right? And if you want to change the behavior, you need to understand the job. Food can comfort you, stimulate you, reward you, distract you, give you something pleasurable after a difficult day, give you something to look forward to, maybe help you temporarily shut everything else out, or help your body transition out of a wound up, highly activated state. So when we simply try to remove the food, we may be removing the solution we've been using without actually addressing the problem that it's solving for us. If what you're really seeking is relief, taking away the chips doesn't take away your need for relief. If what you're really seeking is comfort, swearing off the ice cream doesn't take away your need for comfort. If you're bored and craving stimulation, telling yourself not to snack doesn't make the boredom disappear. And if your body is still carrying the intensity of your day, telling yourself not to eat doesn't help your body calm down. So instead of immediately asking, how do I stop myself from eating this? Ask yourself, what am I trying to change about how I feel right now? Because emotional eating is often an attempt to change your elevation, your state. You're feeling one way and you want to feel another way. Stressed to soothe, bored to stimulate it, depleted to reward it, lonely to comfort it, overwhelmed to checked out, wound up to settled. And food can do that quickly. And there's also another form of emotional eating that we don't talk about nearly enough. Sometimes you aren't sad, you aren't lonely or feeling angry, or might not even feel particularly anxious. You're simply activated because maybe you spend hours concentrating, making decisions, responding to people, rushing, solving problems, meeting expectations, or holding yourself together. Then that day ends, maybe your children go to bed, the demanding part of the day stops, but your body doesn't always stop with it. The pressure may be over, but your nervous system is still carrying its speed. You're home, but you haven't arrived. You're sitting down, but your body hasn't settled. And suddenly, you find yourself standing in the kitchen looking for something to eat. You're not always eating your feelings. Sometimes you're eating the nervous system activation that you haven't had a chance to release. The craving may not be emotional hunger. It may be your nervous system searching for an off-ramp, like on an off-ramp on a freeway. And food can provide that off-ramp pretty quickly for us. It gives you sensation, pleasure, predictability, a repetitive action, something to focus on. And perhaps most importantly, a signal that the demanding part of the day is finally over. In that moment, you may not need more food. You may need a transition. You may need help moving from activated to settled, from performing to resting, from responding to everyone else to returning to yourself. Recognize this. It really matters because you cannot meet a need that you're misidentified. If you think the problem is simply a lack of discipline, you're trying to control yourself more. But if the real problem is that your body hasn't had an opportunity to decompress, more pressure may be the exact opposite of what you need. So we're not going to pretend food doesn't work. We're going to build more ways to get what you actually need. Because the goal isn't I never emotionally eat again. The goal is food is no longer my automatic answer every time I want to feel different. And that's where the 10-minute emotional eating reset comes in. I put the whole thing on one simple guide so you can see exactly what we're going to do at what stage. Okay, so there are 4 steps. Name the state, find the job, meet the need, then choose. And we're going to walk through each one. But before we do, there's one really important rule. You're not telling yourself that you can't have the food. You're simply giving yourself 10 minutes before deciding. Because we're not trying to create another food rule, we're trying to create space for choice. All right, step 1, name the state. Here you ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Keep it simple. Maybe you're stressed, bored, lonely, restless, overwhelmed, angry, anxious, exhausted, depleted, wound up, overstimulated, maybe still carrying the day. Or maybe you just want something pleasurable right now. That's information too. You don't need to turn wanting a cookie into a deep psychological investigation. You're simply noticing what state you're in before you react to it. And if you cannot name a specific emotion, check your level of elevation, of your activation. Does your body feel tense? Are your thoughts still moving quickly? Do you feel restless even though you're tired? Does it feel difficult to shift into rest? Do you feel as though the demanding part of the day has ended, but something inside you is still going? Okay, all of that counts as a state. You don't have to be emotionally distressed to need regulation though either, okay? Sometimes you simply need to calm down. And that is an important Oiaré principle. Your elevation or your state changes what feels available to you. When you're rested and feeling good, the choices you want to make feel relatively easy, right? But when you're exhausted, stressed, lonely, frustrated, depleted, or highly activated, the quickest source of relief can suddenly become incredibly compelling. So don't judge the state, okay? Just see it. What am I feeling right now? And what is happening in my body? All right, step 2. Now ask, what am I hoping this food will do for me? And this may be the most important question in the entire exercise. Because I want chocolate might actually mean I want a reward. I want a snack might actually mean I need stimulation. I want takeout might actually mean I want something enjoyable to look forward to. I want to keep eating might mean I don't want to think about what I'm feeling right now. I need something crunchy might mean I'm carrying tension and I want somewhere to put it. I want to eat as soon as I finish work might mean I need clear transition out of the intensity of my day. Or I just want pleasure, right? And that's okay too. The goal isn't to make every craving into a problem. The goal is to understand the function of the behavior. So ask, what job am I giving this food? Is it to comfort me, to reward me, to entertain me, to stimulate me, to calm me, to distract me, maybe help me check out, give me something to look forward to, or help me calm down? And this is where emotional eating starts looking very different, because now you're not just standing in front of the refrigerator trying to resist something. You're starting to understand what you're actually asking for. And once you know the job, you can start creating other ways to do it. All right, step 3, meet the need. Okay, now here you give yourself 10 minutes to meet some of that need another way. Not because you have to prove you can resist the food, you're simply expanding your options. You're looking for stimulation, then you change the environment, or maybe go outside or put on music, move your body, do something creative, change what you're looking at, right? If you're looking for comfort, deliberately create comfort. Wrap yourself in a cozy blanket, take a bath or a shower, make tea, or go somewhere comfortable. Call someone you love or spend time with your pet. If you're looking for relief, give yourself 10 minutes when you're not required to accomplish anything. Maybe go for a walk, stretch, breathe, right? Write down what's occupying your mind. If you're looking for a connection, reach out to an actual connection. Text someone, call someone, go sit with someone you love, or play with a pet, or spend time in nature. And if you're feeling wound up or highly activated, don't immediately demand that your body becomes still. Sometimes sitting quietly and telling yourself to relax doesn't feel helpful because your body is still carrying energy that needs somewhere to go. Give that activation a safe exit. Take a brisk walk, maybe around the block or around your house or inside your house even, right? Shake out your arms and legs. Stretch your shoulders, jaws, hands. Put on a song that you love and move with it. Take a shower and deliberately imagine your day ending. Or change out of your work clothes. Step outside and take several slow breaths with a longer exhale. Do something that creates a clear boundary between the demanding part of your day and the part where you get to rest. You can even say something like, this part of my day is over. I don't have to carry its speed into the rest of my evening. This isn't about finding the one perfect nervous system technique. It's about helping your body complete the transition that eating may have been completing for you to this point. And if what you're looking for is a reward, right? So this one's worth paying attention to. Maybe, just maybe, the food has become the one way or the only way that you consistently reward yourself with, you know? You work, you accomplish, you take care of people, you handle responsibilities, and you keep going. And then at the end of the day, food becomes finally something for you. And if that's happening, the answer may not be becoming better at denying yourself pleasure, right? It may be building more pleasure into your life, more things to anticipate, more rest, more creativity, more connection, more moments that aren't productive at all. Because food shouldn't have to carry the entire responsibility for making your life feel good. And you don't need to find a perfect substitute in these 10 minutes. You're simply teaching your brain and body something, that there is more than one way to respond to this need that you have. And that's the point. You're creating options. And every new option starts loosening the automatic connection between I feel this, so I eat, right? Okay, step 4. So after 10 minutes, come back and ask, do I still want it? And if you do, okay, eat it. Seriously. Because whether you eat the food is not the only measure of whether this practice worked. You may still want the cookie. That's okay. You may still want the chips. You may still decide that tonight you want ice cream. But something important just happened. Instead of feeling leading to immediate reaction, you created a different model: feeling, awareness, response, choice. And that's agency. And that's what we're strengthening, because the more often you create that space, the more you learn, I can experience an urge without immediately obeying it. I can experience discomfort without immediately escaping it. I can carry activation without automatically eating to release it. I can want something without automatically doing it. And then I can decide what I actually want to do. So you name the state, find the job, meet the need, then choose. And notice what we're doing here. We're not trying to become better at fighting ourselves. We're becoming better at understanding ourselves. But you might be asking yourself, well, what if I already ate? Okay, so there's another part of emotional eating that can keep the whole cycle going. What happens afterwards, after you already ate something? So maybe you ate something you didn't intend to eat. And suddenly you're not just evaluating the food, you're evaluating yourself. You might be saying, I have no discipline, or I ruined the day, or why do I always do this? Or maybe I'll have to just start over tomorrow. But shame creates another uncomfortable emotional state. And if food is one of the ways that you've learned to soothe uncomfortable states, making yourself feel worse can feel that feed that exact cycle that you're trying to change. So don't turn the moment into a character assessment. Turn it into information. Okay, ask what happened right before I wanted that food. What was I feeling? What was happening in my body? What did I need? What did eating give me? Did it comfort me, reward me, distract me, or help me come down? Now you can start seeing patterns. Maybe this mostly happens at night, after stressful work days, or immediately after finishing something demanding. Perhaps when you're feeling bored or you're alone, or when you haven't slept enough. Maybe when you're overwhelmed, when you're still carrying the intensity of the whole day, or when you spend the entire day taking care of everyone else's needs. That's all very useful information because now you know where to intervene. And sometimes the answer isn't becoming more disciplined at 9 p.m. It's taking better care of that person who arrives at 9 p.m. Because maybe you need more rest. Maybe you need something enjoyable in the evening, more joy. Maybe you need 10 minutes alone. Maybe you need connection. Perhaps you need a deliberate transition out of your day. Or you need to stop asking yourself to perform at full capacity from morning until bedtime. Okay? Instead of constantly trying to control the behavior at the end of the chain, start looking upstream. And this is where emotional eating becomes part of something much bigger. We all have ways of quickly changing how we feel, right? Some might eat, some might turn to scrolling, shopping, working, watching television, or keeping ourselves constantly busy. We look for something outside of ourselves that can move us from one state into another, from that lower elevation to higher elevation. And those things aren't automatically bad. Food isn't bad, pleasure isn't bad, comfort isn't bad. The question is, though, do I have other options? Can I soothe myself in more than one way? Can I create pleasure in more than one way? Can I respond to loneliness in more than one way? Can I handle stress in more than one way? Or help my body decompress in another way? Can I experience discomfort or activation for a few minutes without immediately needing to make it disappear? Because the more options you have, the less power any one coping behavior needs to hold. So instead of needing to get better at controlling food, focus on the need to get better at understanding what you actually need. Because the next time the urge comes, you don't have to immediately fight it. Get curious. What am I feeling? What is happening in my body? What job am I asking food to do for me? What do I actually need? Am I physically hungry? Emotionally uncomfortable? Or does my nervous system simply need an off-ramp? So you name that state, find the job, meet the need, and then choose. Maybe you eat it, maybe you don't. That's not the only victory here. The victory is that you interrupt the automatic pattern. You listened to yourself, you created another option, and you gave yourself enough space to decide what happens next. Because lasting change isn't always about getting better at controlling yourself. Sometimes it's about getting better at understanding yourself. More awareness gives you more options, and more options give you more freedom to choose. So until next time, remember to live by direction, not by reaction.